Well, Barbara is a consummate leader, and she's respected throughout the state. She has served in the legislature for many years, and she works well with both sides of the aisle. She often says, you know, I represent my constituents in the Douglas County area, but I really represent all of Kansas, because if we don't do what's good for all of Kansas, then we're not doing what's good for Douglas County.
Well, I know Barbara in the context as an advocate for Interhab, which I am, and as a person who served as a staff person in the legislature for a number of years.
Barbara is a team player, and although she's not around a lot of the time, we know she's looking at, she's got her back over at the legislature. And when key things are needed, she's always been one to help.
I think whenever I hear Cottonwood, I automatically perk out, like, what are they saying? Or if I read something, I want to see what it is. So it's a part of me. I've been here long enough. It's a part of me.
She has been steadfast and devoted and outspoken in defense of the needs of persons with disabilities and the providers that provide those services and supports, without question. To leave it at that would really diminish the role that she plays in the legislature. I mean, for a number of reasons, she is regarded by a number of groups as a steadfast person. And it turns out that so many of the things she stands up for are things that help all of us, including people with disabilities. Her advocacy for education, her advocacy for persons who struggle with economic poverty, her advocacy for those who aren't often heard in the State House is significant.
It's the work that Cottonwood does is extremely important to families. And I think if it's extremely important to families, I think about what if I had a member of my family that needed the services. I would want them to be at Cottonwood because I know they would get quality, that they wouldn't be limited because they had a disability. It would be in spite of we can do this, that, and the other. So I put myself in that position, and I think every family member wants the best for their children regardless of what limitations they might have.
You know, sometimes when it gets close at the end of the legislature, she'll call and say, Sharon, I'm going to go down to the microphone, give me the facts, tell me what I need to know, she'll ask me the questions, and I'll provide her the information about, you know, how it impacts Cottonwood or how it impacts the state.
She's important in terms of helping us to understand what's going on and helping it to change it in the way it should be changed, or to leave it alone. And I say that's a very key thing, to have a board member who can do that. And she's been at it a long time.
Well, I hope I bring my enthusiasm, but I think a knowledge of what goes on in the state around intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as the importance of social services in any community.
I would say this, that there's also a sameness in the legislative process that sometimes is so sobering and so dull as to steal the life out of the issues that they're talking about, which are big issues. I mean, Barbara brings a stylish, a beautiful approach to the impact and the drama of these issues. You know, when she thunders, and everybody hears it. And when she sings, everybody hears it. And when I say sing, whether she's singing or whether she's saying something that has music in it that talks about our lives, that she brings an element of style to the legislative process, which is necessary. It's the style of our lives.
My role, thanks to Cottonwood for educating me about what it is we provide and the services and how difficult they might be, but we can still do a quality job, was to try and convey that to other people. And I continue to do that, knowing that I do have a bias. I am going to be partial to Cottonwood, but I will often say, if you want to go and see for yourself, I think you will agree with me that we provide outstanding services. And I think it's just a matter of educating people about the services, how important they are, and why our funding is crucial.
She's not just a symbol, but she does symbolize what the government should be, which is, someone like Barbara Ballard and her colleagues who join with her on a number of causes. That's the truest form of public service, where you're standing up for somebody who doesn't otherwise have a voice in the legislature.